Hello and welcome to This Woman's Work, a space where you can hear and read about some amazing women, the fantastic jobs they do and the paths that have led them to where they are today. I'm here today with Caroline. Hi Caroline.
Hi.
Did you want to tell the listener in your own words what it is you do for a living?
So I have a nail salon in the centre of Stamford, specialising in nail art design.
Who I go to a lot because she's amazing.
She does, I can't get rid of
So
her.
I've collared her to do this really early on, but okay, and how long have you been in nail tech? So you're in Stamford at the moment. Have you always been in Stamford?
No, I moved to Stamford 12 years ago. Just about now. It was actually around this time. I think the anniversary was a year last week.
Wow.
Actually, yeah. Harris was 3 weeks old when I decided to
Baby.
pack up and move from Glasgow and move down south, which the reason we moved was my ex-husband had taken on a job in Oundle, and we somehow ended up here. Yeah.
And you were already in nail tech at this point?
Yeah. So I trained as a nail tech when I fell pregnant with Finlay, because at the time I had a florist in Glasgow. So I was a florist and I had a little floristry shop, and in those days, many moons ago, 18 years ago, whatever it was, you didn't have the luxury of like the big Dutch vans coming to your door like you do now with florist shops.
Yeah.
You had to go to the Glasgow Flower Market in the morning at like 4 or 5 in the morning to get the best stuff for the day. And I think the more heavily pregnant I got, I thought, I don't know if I can do this anymore. So it was actually a friend of mine, her sister was a nail tech in Glasgow, and with sort of previous background in art, she had said, I've seen this, my sister started following, this girl, she's called Wa Nails, this nail salon in London, that are doing all these cool designs and art and stuff on nails. She said, you've got to check it out. So I checked it out, and so it's a girl called Sharmadan Reid in the West End of London had opened this shop called Wa Nails, and it just became explosive, overnight, like Topshop, like Kate Moss, all of that. Everybody was going to her to get their nails done because she was just so different. Because she was relating fashion onto fingertips, and so I was like, oh, I think I can do this shit. This looks fun. So I was always that kid that looked forward to the Avon catalogue coming through so that I could get like all the fun nail art stuff and stickers. And so I thought, I'm going to give that a go. So when I was pregnant with Finlay, I decided to train. Still had the florist shop, but I decided to train.
In London or?
In Glasgow.
In Glasgow.
I trained in an academy in Glasgow. And I just instantly fell in love with the art of nails, because it's not just going and then it was like going and getting a nail polish, but for me it was going to be so much bigger than that. I had all these ideas in my head like I do. I mean, I think, nail art was always there, and, my background, I went to Glasgow School of Art and I studied art, so it was always there. It's always, being artistic from a child. And I just thought, let's give it a go.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Okay, so you did art and stuff at school and college. Then what came after college then? What was your sort of first job?
So my first job, I was a dental nurse. So I worked as a dental nurse to kind of put me through art college.
Yeah.
And again, in those days, you didn't need to have qualifications to be a dental nurse. You just walked in and said, I need a job. And they were like, okay then.
Do you want to be a dental nurse?
So I've done that, and I worked in a bar in Glasgow at night as well when I was at art college, to top up the funds. But
And then when you were finished, what was your first? Was it floristry? That was
So yeah. So let's say once I left art school, I continued with the dentist that I was with because I just loved the job.
Oh.
And he actually offered, he's a lovely guy, and he offered to put me through dental school to train as a dental hygienist. Which, looking back on it now, I think, God, I could be making shitloads of money by now.
They're on big bucks, don't
But I don't think I could be poking in people's mouths for the rest of my life when I think about it. But, that whittled out, obviously, and then I went into floristry.
And how did you get into that? I mean, was that...
Again, it was a restaurant I worked in Glasgow, and the girl used to come in, just a wee part-time job. I used to work in Nairns in Glasgow, and the girl used to come in to do these amazing flower displays. Like, they were so unusual because it was a really cool restaurant.
Yeah.
So there was these like amazing flower displays everywhere.
I know what you mean.
So cool, And I just said to her one day, how do you do it? How do you get into floristry? And she said, come work with me,
Wow.
And that was it. And left the job I was in and went and worked for her. And
gosh, and were you always with her when you were describing going to the flower markets then?
No, I worked with her for quite a few years, and then I decided to branch out on my own. Wow. When hers was sort of, it was really cool, but there was pressure on her as a florist shop because she worked alongside Interflora, and for me Interflora was a bit too basic and shit. Yeah. So I wanted to do cool shit. Yeah. So I decided to branch out on my own. So mainly sort of started out in wedding work. Yeah. Like killing on sort of unusual bridal bouquets and that kind of thing. And it just went from there.
So you saw this person in London and went, God, that's really cool. I want to do that. Yeah. But lots of people think that. Yeah. What made you kind of think, okay, I'm going to do it then?
I think it's just my personality. If
you thought, I want to do it, so I can do it, so I'm going to do it.
Yeah, I want to do that, so I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And I think, I suppose I'm like that with everything,
It's just that innate kind of belief, is that? Like a confidence or...
Yeah, it's just like a weird sort of passion thing I get in me. Like, I've got to do it.
Literally, it's a weird, fuck it. Yeah. What's the worst that can happen?
That is the way I live my life. Fuck it, what's the worst that's going to happen?
Yeah. Okay, so you said you got qualified up in Glasgow. So you went to... Yeah. Where did you go? Sorry, for anyone that's listening.
Yeah, so I went and trained with a company called... Oh, what was it called? It was like Mercury or something like that. It was a nail company that's not around anymore. Trained initially with them.
And was that a hard process? Did you have to apply to get on that and then wait? Or?
Yeah, you have to you have to apply to do like your basic manicure. Yeah. So if you don't go to... So nowadays a lot of girls will decide to go to Stanford College or a college to study beauty. And manicure is involved in that. But I wanted to just do nails at that point, so I looked up courses around the area, and found this great company that done like week courses, so an intense week course on manicure, and again at that time gel wasn't invented. So
you were just doing traditional...
So it was just traditional manicures. Acrylic's been around for many years. So I done my acrylic enhancement course as well, the following week from that. So done full intense week course on manicure, pedicure, and then full intense course on acrylic enhancement. And then I went and worked for a nail salon in Glasgow.
So you got qualified and you just then had to apply for jobs.
I just got qualified.
Is that almost like a sort of an apprentice, or were you taken on as a qualified?
No, just taken on as a qualified nail tech. Yeah. I was shit because you're always shit when you start out, aren't you? But I can remember being fucking petrified of the owner coming in and saying, right, darling, do my nails, let's see how good you are. You know, and I can remember belting out the best fucking set of nails I'd ever done, and I thought, oh, what happened there?
What is this innate confidence? This innate belief?
Yeah. And so I worked with them for a while, and then I landed this insane job with C&D Academy in Glasgow. Applied for it, thought, I'll never get it. Like, this is the best of the best nail techs.
And what was the application? Did you have to send off?
Yeah,
like
so you have to, basically, well, again, in those days, there was, you didn't have social media or anything like that, so you basically had to send a CV. Yeah, exactly. It was like a CV with some photographs printed out from, when you used to take the camera to the chemists and get it produced, and put that in and send it, and out of nowhere I got the job.
So how long had you been a nail tech for at this point then?
I had been a nail tech probably for about 6 months or something.
God, so this is rapid then, isn't it?
Yeah. I got taken on with the C&D Academy, and trained under Fee Wallace, who still to this day is one of the best nail techs in Britain. She's amazing. She's ambassador of C&D for the UK. So trained under her. And literally not that long after, gel was launched. And gel, so a lot of people get confused when they say shellac nails or gel nails. Like, what's the difference?
Yeah.
So basically, shellac was the inventor of gel.
Oh, okay.
So when I worked at the academy, I can always remember Fee's mum, who ran the business, coming in and saying, wait till you see this, girls. This is insane. Like, no more drying time, no more having to go into your clients' purses to get their money out for them, and telling them to put their coat on before you start painting their nails. It was a colour called Wildfire, and it was the most beautiful red. And so she brought it out, she put it under this like light that we had never seen before.
Magic light.
I know, the magic light. Put it under the magic light. She pulled out and she said, touch my fingers. Go on, touch. And it was set, and that was it. That was the beginning of gel. And then, because I was so lucky, because I worked at the C&D Academy, we got the first gel that was coming into the country.
And then you got trained quite quickly.
So we get trained straight away on shellac.
Yeah.
And it was just, it was game changing.
Well, it is for you, because you do specialise in art, nail art.
Yeah.
And
so you were able to paint.
Have done that? So hang on, so if we track back to this lady in London then, she was doing art
with nail
just
polish.
Normal nail polish. So literally just like what we're talking, fans, just like to dry nails and then that and then dry. I mean, the hours that must have taken.
She had a little handheld fan. That's what I used to use as well. I should, like you buy to fan yourself.
You've got to do another thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it was, you were all you were knocking out was, little flicks in the nails with like little diamantes on the, that kind of thing, and very, very 90s, sort of early 2000s, and God, the amount of leopard print nails I used to do was unbelievable.
Wow. Yeah. Okay, so you were at the C&D Academy, now doing gel.
Yeah.
And then moved down. What was the time period between that and then moving down here then?
Oh God, yeah. So worked there for, so when would that have been? That would have been 2009, 10. When I worked in C&D Academy, and then we moved down here 2011.
Wow.
And actually, when I moved down here, I decided to stop doing nails.
Oh.
Yeah.
Gosh, I didn't know this.
Yeah. So I just had Harris was wee, so it was pretty nigh on impossible to get out and work anyway. So I got a wee job in Calico Fabrics in Stamford. I loved that shop. And worked, Callie took me on just because I had, my art background and textiles and things like that. So worked in there and I was just started playing about with the sewing machine again because I was working in a sewing shop.
Yeah.
And one day I just decided to start sketching with the needle point on my sewing machine onto linen. And I started sort of selling little bits in calico and things like that of what I was creating. And then, Two Turtle Doves started, which was my textile design company.
Yes.
Yeah. And so for a good few years, because from calico I then started working for Snow Designs, the interior design shop. Nice. So went in with Camilla, and then Camilla, luckily, she gave me a studio on the top floor of the interior design shop to start producing mass work of Two Turtle Doves. Yeah, which then sort of ended up, I was then in art galleries in Cambridge and Glasgow, and it went huge, pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Loads of commission work coming out my ears.
And it was just you?
Yeah. And then Snow Designs sadly closed down. So I took on a little studio myself in just off the high street in Stamford. I had a little studio in there.
Wow.
It was a graphic designer called Beach, and he had some studio space, so he gave me a room, and then I worked from there. And that continued for a good few years. I had Two Turtle Doves, so specialising in freehand machine embroidery, like basically sketching with a needlepoint. And then sadly my dad took his own life, and I went downhill rapidly, obviously. And I couldn't do it anymore. The creativity had gone.
Literally just gone.
It gone overnight. I couldn't think, I couldn't create, because I was grieving my dad so badly. I just went into a really, really black place.
Yeah.
And my, main objective in life at that point was to look after mum, make sure mum was okay. And
and your kids,
and my kids,
they
were
so
grieving
you
too.
into full survival mode then, basically.
Absolute full survival mode. Yeah. So shut up shop with the textile design company. And to be honest, Michelle, I can't even remember how long it was after that, because it was just a cloud of a time.
Well, how old would, say, Harris have been, do you think, when your dad passed?
So Harris would have been 6. Yeah, I think about 6 when Dad passed. Yeah.
And then how old when you sort of started up again?
And then, so it must have been a good over a year.
Yeah.
That I didn't do anything. I mean, I had little part-time jobs still, like working in bars busy. And things like that, just to keep my brain busy. But it was, and then the girl, I went to get my hair cut in Mojo's on Ironmonger Street in Stamford.
Yeah.
And at the time, their beautician was leaving. And Karina was like, you do nails and things like that, don't you? And I said, yeah, I have done in the past. And she said, well, why don't you come in and take over from Zoe? So Zoe Nobbs was a beautician there. I still keep in contact with. She's a beautiful wee soul. And so I took over I thought, fuck it, it's time. Fuck it. I was like, you're not going to sit about forever, Caroline. Pull yourself together. And so I opened up as Graffiti Beauty, which I was at the time, in Ironmonger Street.
So all beauty, but specialising really in
Yeah, I did. So I done waxing, tanning.
Had you been qualified for that at this point?
Yeah.
Or, yeah.
Yeah.
So when did you done that? Had you done that as part of your course?
Yeah, I'd done it previously.
Okay.
Wanted to sort of learn how to wax and, you know, just to get the whole beautician package going so that if I ever did want to work in another salon, it was there. So, yeah, I'd done waxing, brows, lashes, nails, everything. But everybody was demanding my nails for the nail because of the nail art. It was so unique at that time. I mean, obviously there's loads of amazing nail artists in Sanford now. But at the time, so we're talking 8 years ago, there wasn't much of it about. So I got so busy with the nails that I then had to predominantly just be nail design.
Yeah.
So yeah, I stayed in Mojo's for a good 3 years. Then I moved down to the Sanford Hair Studio on Shaney Lane.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I worked there for a few years.
Yeah.
And then that went a bit tits up because I just didn't get on with the owner.
Yeah.
So it was just by chance that, you know, I mentioned to Jen, who I worked with there, and she was a friend of Sophie Earle's.
Yeah.
And she'd mentioned to Sophie Earle about me looking for another studio. And so we were chatting, we got on so well straight away. And she was like, come and fucking work with us. It's going to be ace. Because...
So had they got this place?
Yes, this was basically the attic up here was a storeroom.
Right.
Yeah. So it got cleared out overnight. And I moved in like the next week, couple of weeks later.
And was this pre-COVID?
No, this was just after COVID. So COVID. I was in Sanford Hair Studio during COVID, which was an absolute shit show.
Yeah.
I think all in all we were open. I think we were closed something like 14 months. All in all, as a beauty industry.
Oh, I know.
That was fucking tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know you have a lot of strength left. I know you.
So we've talked about how you got trained and qualified. For anyone sort of doing it now, is there a different approach that you would take to someone getting trained and qualified as a nail tech, or do you think going down the kind of beauty school route?
Yeah, so that's a really good question because girls automatically will go to beauty college, as in, you know, do a beauty course at a big, you know, a big town or city school,
so you can still do
college, which is fine.
Yeah.
But if it is nails you predominantly want to be in, then don't go down that route because they're very, very minimal in what they do. They, you know, they will train you in manicure and pedicure, but there won't be the in-depth knowledge there is with nails. I would always
say... Do you need to be qualified in anything else before you get to that or not? So,
no.
So say if I just wanted to do it tomorrow...
Yeah.
I don't have to go and do a beauty course first.
No.
So I just need to go and get...
So you have to, before you become a nail tech, you have to be qualified in basic manicure and pedicure.
Yeah.
That's where the mistake is made with a lot of nail techs now. You obviously, during COVID, people started to learn off YouTube.
Yeah.
Which is great. YouTube's amazing for, you know, things like... But when it comes to your dealing with things with hygiene and with chemicals... And all of these things that are not taught on YouTube, they're taught on how to paint it on your nail and stick it under a lamp. It is so important to do a manicure and pedicure course beforehand because you will learn about your nail anatomy. Always go with a accredited educator. Right. You know, so if it's a private accredited educator, then just make sure the correct certifications are there for them to train you.
So, because you obviously train people.
Yeah, so I'm a accredited educator. Yeah.
Are you? So how did you get that to be a?
So I done. I done
own certificate.
I just knocked one up on Canva and stuck it on my wall.
Nail expert.
No, I didn't. I done a course with an educational college in London. Yeah. I done an online course.
So we obviously talked about you being really artistic and obviously your fuck it attitude.
Yeah.
What could possibly go wrong? But do you think there's anything else about, and I guess this is about being self-employed, but also doing what you're doing, I guess what inherent skills you have, or even things you've learned that make you good at this job or make you able to keep doing it? I think, what is it?
Yeah.
And that's for someone to get a feel for, okay, yeah, I think I'm like that. Okay, so maybe I could give this a go. Or flip side of that is, no, okay, I'm definitely not like that. So maybe this isn't for me.
Yeah. I mean, I think, one, obviously you've got to be passionate about doing nails, and it is a real passion. And I look at nails as an extension of fashion, so for me, it's predominantly a lot art-based.
Yeah.
And
fashion, so I wouldn't have thought that actually. So
yeah. So you are there's constant, trends.
Yeah.
On Instagram of nails, so you got like your donut glaze nails, which is huge at the minute. So you've always got people coming to you that they see that influencer has got that week, and but for knowing that this is what you want to do for a living, you don't, for me, you don't have to be very, very artistic to, be doing nail art. There is basic nail art designs you can do that, will look amazing,
Okay. Flip side of that is what I guess, what have I guess a challenge. I was going to say problematic characteristics, but I don't want to say that because that sounds really negative. Yeah. But what challenges do you think you have as a person that make this difficult for you, or that make, I guess that do make it tough for you, that, if you could change, you would change, or that you just have to manage through?
I mean, for me, the biggest challenge is being mum.
Yeah. Juggling it all.
Yeah. Having to run a full-time nail salon and still being mum.
And a single mum now.
And a single mum, being there for your kids, and I work 2 late nights, and those late nights are literally you go home and, the kids are settled and done for the day, and so you've not seen them all day, I did take the decision a few years ago to stop working on a Saturday.
I remember that,
which I wouldn't recommend to girls just starting up, because Saturday is a big nail day. People getting their nails done for the weekend ahead.
Yeah.
But luckily I was in that position that I could, and I just added an extra evening. So basically all my Saturday girls went into another evening.
Okay, yeah.
So those girls that work, because most people work, during the day.
You've got to be available for that.
Yeah.
What's been the absolute best part of this for you? Since you've been doing this?
Being a nail tech.
What's been the absolute best part of it?
I think probably standout was when a company that I've always worked, used their gels, called Artiste, the Japanese nail company. They contacted me and asked if I would be the UK ambassador, and so that was huge, because you thought, fuck, I'm good enough to be like somebody to say, we want you to be the face of the UK for our company, because we love your work.
When was that?
That happened, so that was, I think, 21. Yeah.
I've got to ask you about weird stuff though.
Okay.
So what? Because there's got to be weird stuff. I want to know what people have asked for, whether you've done it, whether you've not done it. Weird stuff that's happened. I mean, have you taken someone's, gel off and just found like the mankiest nails in the world? I just give me all. What's the weirdest stuff?
I think probably the weirdest one was when I was doing a manicure, and I thought the girl had been gardening, and I was you know, obviously cleaning her up and, you know, doing the cuticle tidy and all the rest of it. And quickly realising when I started the manicure that it wasn't mud. It was shit.
What?
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say she'd got like some weird disease or something.
No.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. That was
She'd
pretty
just been
rank.
scratching her bum a lot. Or
She'd
worse.
just been
worse.
scratching her bumhole.
Obsessively.
I really don't know. I don't know why you asked.
And did you carry on?
Of course I did, yeah.
Were you just like spraying a lot though and just like
cleansing and alcohol a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, that is weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've had to ban someone from getting they used to come to me for pedicure. And I had to ban them because I literally used to balk at the smell. They used to turn up with the smelliest feet. And that sounds really unprofessional.
But if
actually,
you can't do a good job,
no, they were just really bad.
I mean, but they don't know you banned them for that, do they? I'm guessing.
No, you just literally have to message. Oh, I'm really sorry, I don't have any room that day until
they get the message.
Until they think, oh, I need to go somewhere else to get my feet done because she's always full.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Money wise, then, and this is obviously a tricky one, and I don't have to include this as well. But I guess because it was again weird talking to Sophie because in some respects there isn't really. Is there a rate card that's acceptable for what you do that you have to stay within? I know what you charge.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm guessing there are people globally, but in the UK, earning a lot of money doing this.
Yeah.
Like you say, doing celebs and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's a big industry. Yeah.
And then they pick and choose, do they? And then, so I guess what kind of, because is it the kind of thing where you can literally, it's down to how much you want to work? How much?
Yeah.
Because obviously, like you say, in today's economy, there's only so much you can charge for nails. So it's how many hours you want to do. And I guess probably, but like I said, for saying like location-wise, like if you're in London, you charge more.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because obviously your rent and rates are a lot higher in different areas, so the nails are going to be dearer in some areas. I think it's always a real tough one because I do get a lot of young nail techs that have started out messaging me and saying, you know, that they're struggling with their price list because, you know, they are just starting out, so they don't want to be charging, but they feel they have to because obviously our products have rocketed in prices. And it's a real tough one. I mean, I don't charge under, you know, for a gel manicure, I wouldn't charge under 32.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you've still got your rent to pay. You've still got all the products to pay. People don't see all that, you know, all the things behind it, your insurance, your, you know, everything. You know, you aren't just taking that money home in your pocket.
What's next?
What's next?
What's next for Caroline?
Lots.
Well, I do sort of know this, but so yeah, what's next?
So I think the biggest next at the minute is from next week, I'm delving back into acrylic and extensions. Enhancements is a proper word. Extensions is what people know. And that is purely because I've done acrylics always when I was a young nail tech, like years ago. And I had came away from it because gel became huge. And as nail techs, we were kind of then brainwashed. You should only really be doing, if you want to be a really good nail tech, you want to be encouraging the client to grow their own nails.
Yeah.
And so I think we should all purely be working on natural nail beds here, you know. So, and then...
But acrylic tech's gone a long way since then, hasn't it, surely?
Absolutely, yeah. I suppose I was a little bit inspired by, there's a nail tech in Bourne called Nicola Foster, and the nails she was banging out were just stunning, you know, and they were all acrylic. So I contacted Nicola and I said, I think I might fancy having a little refresher on this because your nails are beautiful. so I went and done a little refresher with Nicola Foster, who's amazing acrylic educator. And I don't know, I change all the time with,
Well, you're evolving,
like, I'm
aren't
like
you?
a
Yeah.
chameleon that way. Like, I like sort of changing the style up all the time.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden started seeing these nails on social media platforms that were long,
It is a big
acrylic,
thing. Yeah.
huge nails with fucking amazing nail art on them, and just expression of fashion, you know, like.
And you've got to be relevant.
You've got to be.
You've got to be
You've got
relevant.
to be. So I thought, I want a bit of that again. So yeah, that's the next chapter.
Cool, Caroline. But also, bravo for actually going, and because you could have just gone, okay, well, I know, you know what, you could have been cocky enough to go, okay, well, I used to do acrylic, so I'll just start doing it again.
Yeah.
The fact that you were humble enough to go, actually, I want to make sure I do this really right with the latest stuff, so I'm going to go and get trained on it.
Because things are changing all the time in the industry, so you have to keep up with what's
new.
new.
So that's full credit to you for doing that, because there'll be a lot of people that wouldn't do that.
No, I know.
What advice would you have given your younger self? So back when maybe, and it could even have been when you were at the dental surgery, but I guess what advice, or maybe not actually, because let's maybe keep it on track with being in Nailtech then.
Okay.
When you first made that decision, or if you could go back to that, what advice now would you give that person to maybe done things slightly differently, or learn things a different way, or are you happy you think you did it in the right way?
I think, not that I would tell my younger self, but what I would tell a younger nail tech out there that's starting is, just don't give up. It's so easy to be sitting there with not one client walking through the door and saying, fuck this, I'm going to go and get a job in Sainsbury's. Yeah. You know. But, you know, just keep pushing, just don't give up. If you're lucky enough to sort of be in that position of not bringing home a brilliant wage. Yeah. And just keep pushing at what you believe you're going to be good at one day.
And socials, surely. And obviously you've just got to
socials was a game changer.
You've got to be able, you've got to put it all out there.
I mean, luckily when I first started out, that is just when Instagram launched. Yeah. You know, I don't know if that's when they launched the year I started out, no idea. But it was there. Yeah. You know, and that completely changed my business, because my business was visual. If I didn't have Instagram, would I have stuck around? Probably not. You have to put, I think, on especially social media, you have to put out there exactly who you are as a person. What you can offer, yeah. Because I'm not that nail salon that you come and get a little French tip and you know that, you know, we like the funky
all
stuff.
Illegal acrylics.
We like, exactly. We like the cool stuff. We like keeping on trend and you know
and healthy nails.
Absolutely, I mean, that's
Caroline
huge.
She makes sure you walk very. I mean, and my daughter came and had her nails done, and very, I mean, meticulous with the oils and everything. Yes, exactly. She was really into it. So,
promoting, that you know your shit. Yeah. I think it's important.
And aftercare and everything else.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what people want to go to. They don't want to go to somebody that's, you know, just basically learnt on YouTube and then opened a salon.
Bloody hell.
You know?
Scary thought.
Yeah.
Okay, my final question then is what advice it's the final question I'm gonna ask everybody. It's a bit of a life advice that you would give to anyone. It doesn't have nothing to do. It can be to do with this or nothing to do with this, but a bit of life advice that you want to just throw out there into the world.
I find myself saying daily, just breathe, don't stop, keep going, because you know things might look pretty dark and shit sometimes, but just keep going, because it will get better. Life will get better.
The sun will rise, as the saying goes.
Absolutely, yeah. Never give up. Never ever give up. There has been many times that I've thought, I need to close. I can't go on like this. This is really bad. But then you start thinking, oh, what else can I do to bring some money in? And you just got to keep going.
Find a way.
Yeah. And have people around you that believe in you, you know. And even that's even like down to like you, clients that come in the door and tell me that, you know, that they love their nails and, you know, that makes them happy. And walking in the door is like a, you know, it's a therapy session, and that is what you are as a nail tech as well. That passes through your mind, you know, if I give this up, I know there's going to be people out there that will be devastated because they can't chat to me every couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And, you know, those, you know, you do become almost like a life therapist for people as well.
Well, thank you very much, Caroline.
You are most welcome.
If you would like to hear more about this chat, see some behind the scenes pics and some personal profile pics, plus read about how to get started in this industry and or this role, then please go and support us on Patreon. The link is on this podcast page and across all of our socials. Sincere thanks in advance.